A long time ago, I was one of you. You're all brand new and perfect. No mistakes, no regrets. People look at you and think of how wonderful your future will be. Be something special like a doctor or a lawyer. I hate to tell you this, but if you grow up here, you're more likely to wind up selling your bodies on the streets or shooting dope from dirty needles in a bus stop. And if you're successful, you'll make money selling junk to crackheads. And you won't think twice about killing someone's wife because you won't even know what was wrong in the first place. Or maybe you'll end up like me, a hobo with a shotgun.
Jason is my son, and today is his birthday. You have dinner with us. My brother makes good head cheese. Candyman, I get cheese. Candyman. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to. We are the creators of the Spooky Pit, the innovators of the Passion Bump, and we are taking you down the darkest rabbit holes of all things horror.
We review horror movies and fuck them with comedy. We're your final bros, Brian Hopboy LaGrassa and Shane just laying pipe Smith. And we are joined by our Scream Queen, Jen, the producer.
Hello.
And joining us today, special guest, Scott. Let's take it back, Hucke.
What's going on, everyone? I'm going to do my best to take it back a lot less this time.
You know what's really screwed up? Right before you just did like your quote, I thought we were going to be talking about an entirely different movie.
What movie did you think we were doing?
When does this come out?
This is the third week of February.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing one that's coming out later in February. We record multiple episodes at a time, so sometimes I will think we're doing something different, and then when Brian does his quote, I'm just like, oh, we're doing something entirely different.
It's like just switch gears. Like.
Yeah.
This isn't the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
But yeah, today we have a banger movie, and I feel like we always have Scott on for the weird shit.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to review a decent quality movie.
If I have any say about that, no.
Okay,
Me too.
good to know.
Well, usually our guests will be like, hey, we want to do this movie, or we want to do that movie. But I feel like for Scott, we're like, Scott, you're doing this, you're doing this.
I'm just pissed you guys made me watch this.
I love this movie.
This is interesting. So we do like a lot of like double genres. So we'll do like comedy horror or like horror thriller kind of go like hand in hand. But like we've done Western horror with A Girl Walks Home, and we like done all these different things. But this movie's action horror.
Yes.
So this is
that what it's actually called? I was kind of curious.
Technically, IMDb has it listed as a comedy action horror.
Yeah, it
Not
qualifies
fucking comedy.
That's fine.
I'll be honest, I laughed a lot.
There's
I think it's
interesting one-liners.
Yeah,
I can see it. I just got this sucks, and I was texting in our group chat earlier about it. I actually like when all the action started, I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. But then like I kind of pay attention to the storyline a little bit, and I was just like, I'm really bored. Like after I got used to all the action, I was like, I'm so bored watching this because like I kind of know what's gonna happen. Like the title says everything. I'm expecting it. Like
come on, he didn't get a shotgun for so long.
No, he just wanted a lawnmower.
To be fair to this movie, the whole point of the movie is it's a no storyline movie. The title tells you what you're getting. You're getting a hobo with a shotgun, so just expect a lot of shotgunning, a lot of blood, and a lot of ice skates.
The director took probably two different concepts, and he had them all in like, you know, the Family Guy method that they did in South Park with the manatees picking the random balls. So he just like a random lottery of balls, and he just picked one, and it was like, oh, shotgun. Picked another one, hobo. Combine the ideas, and he's got a movie. You just, sign on Rucker Hauer, and you have something special.
I do have a question. Would you guys feel the way you do now about this movie if all the kills were like off screen, like not on camera, like there was blood splatter, but the kills weren't directly on camera?
This movie could be garbage.
Well, yeah, but this is an exploitation movie. The whole point is for the blood splatter and all of that.
Yeah.
I was just so curious because I was like, with that, if they wanted to make this movie more susceptible to other audiences, like a lower rating, because you know how some movies will do that, they'll take out certain scenes for lower ratings, like a PG-13 rating versus an R rating. And I was like, this movie didn't do well to begin with, but this movie would not do nearly as well if those kills were off screen.
It wouldn't exist.
Yeah,
That's the whole movie.
That really is the function of the
Pretty
movie. It's like
much.
high impulse gore. It's supposed to be really quick, like kill to kill to kill. Low focus on storyline, which is why I think you find it boring, Jen.
Mhm.
I think that's what you mean by that. See, like when I watched
Yeah.
it, it's not that I found it like boring because I think there were so many things that were happening, but the story was dull. To Shane's note, it's supposed to be dull, but you have to weigh that out, I guess. So that's
Yeah.
how you're weighing it out, and that does make sense to me.
Like, my
but like I
favorite-
also see your point of
My
view as
favorite
well.
character was the dad.
Oh, Drake.
Oh, he was
Drake.
yeah,
Drake is
Drake.
incredible.
Yeah,
This,
because he's the most animated. He has the most to him, and honestly, he was like the best actor in the film.
yeah, he was, and it's funny
Yeah.
because he always referred to himself in the third person. I
Yeah.
find that so funny, like the balls and the ego you have to refer
Yeah.
to yourself in the third person. It's just
He,
so funny.
he is the movie, honestly. Like, if it wasn't for him, the movie doesn't exist.
What
Or
about
the-
his
yeah.
sons, Slick and
Ivan.
Ivan.
Yeah, I actually
They're
really
pretty
like Rucker Hauer as the hobo as well.
Yeah, I like him.
Do you know who the
Uh,
original Hobo was going to be?
No,
So this movie, Hobo with a Shotgun, was based off the fake trailer made for Grindhouse 2007.
I actually
And-
that I didn't know.
Yeah, and they wanted the hobo in that trailer, David Brunt. They wanted him to play this hobo in the main film. But the actor, this is exactly what it said. Actor from the original Grindhouse trailer, David Brunt, was supposed to play the lead character. However, he disappeared for weeks. And when he was eventually found, he admitted that he had purposefully disappeared as he was too fearful of carrying the film by himself. And the producers like consoled him, and he actually had a lot of cameos in the movie. And I'll point the ones out that I remember. There's one specific one I remember, and then the others, maybe they'll come to me, maybe they won't. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I guess he got too much anxiety to
Yeah.
have the whole film kind of ride on him. And he was just like, I'm not doing it.
I've been there. Obviously, this is on a much greater scale than anything I've been through, but
Yeah. All right. So with that said, I guess Brad, give us the director cast, and let's get into this thing. As I would normally say, let's jump right into the Spooky Pit.
Hobo meets Shotgun. This movie was directed by Jason Eisner. I think it was released in 2011.
Sounds
I'm
right.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
right.
Horror action. I guess you could throw comedy in there as well because it is labeled as a comedy on IMDb. It stars Rucker Hauer as Hobo, Brian Downey as Drake, Gregory Smith as Slick, Nick Bateman as Ivan/Rip, and Molly Dunsworth as Abby.
Yes. So right away in this movie, you're getting what it is about because you see a hobo riding a train, which is what hobos do. He gets to his destination, and his destination is, what is it called? Like Scum Town?
I
Yeah.
think it's originally
it's-
Hope Town or
Yeah.
something.
There's
Yeah.
no hope here.
Yeah, it's Hope with a cross out, and it says
Yeah.
Scum Town. I think the opening shot's interesting because it's very lush.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see like the green landscape, and he's kind of like waving and eating an apple, and
It's very whimsical music.
very whimsical music. So you're like kind of like put off guard because like by the look of it and the filters, it had like this retro grindhouse appearance to the film. You're like, I don't know what to expect, and then I feel like the music is definitely it sways you from what you think that you're getting.
Mhm. I got like a big Quentin Tarantino vibe. I don't know, like I could be wrong, but it was just
Yeah.
like you said, the filter, even the way that the text and the characters came up for like the title and all the casting and all that. It just gave me a very big like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs kind of like that vibe, and I feel like Jen had something to say about
I
that
did,
too.
but it was for a different movie because I was
Okay.
doing research on all three. I could probably tell you now. My Bloody Valentine. That was Quentin Tarantino's favorite slasher film.
Wow,
It would be.
my favorite, and he's got so many good cameos. But my favorite cameo of his is definitely Planet Terror.
Incredible. Okay, so the hobo, as he will be referred to the whole review because he doesn't have a name other than Hobo, he walks through this desolate town where you see a man breaking into a car. There's crime and scum everywhere. And then you get to what I like to call the bum fight man. Because this guy is just there filming bums fighting in
Yeah.
graphic, bloody detail.
That's
Everything
fair.
is going to be bloody in this movie.
He's an
I mean, how
aspiring
else?
filmmaker.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how we started
He's
out.
basically vlogging.
You started out by robbing graves, throwing them in your shed, and then like paying hobos to bust each other up.
We had a very sketchy past, me and Brian, I guess you would say.
Shane's daughter was helping.
I know I'm wearing a number one dad shirt, but it's only because a guest has given me this shirt, and I felt it'd be rude not to wear it.
Thank you, Tim. It's a great shirt.
This town is really shitty. Like you mentioned, like there's a bunch of cars getting robbed and the car radios are getting taken. He's just like taking all this in. There's a lot of bad stuff. From around the corner, a guy just comes charging. He's got a manhole cover around his neck.
Yes. This man is just running, screaming, help me, help me. They're going to kill me.
You mean Danny McBride?
Yeah.
That is
Recast.
a great recast because that's who it looks like.
It looks exactly like him.
And like everybody is running away from this man, like in fear. They want nothing to do with this guy.
The hobo is even like, he wants no part of this. But then the hobo's cart gets smashed by a car.
Literally, this white sports car just comes.
We'll call it a sports car.
The truck
Kind of looks like the
truck
DeLorean.
The white car was a Corvette, I'm pretty sure, and the one that destroys his cart is the black SUV. It's probably like a Bronco or something.
Scott, the car guy over here.
Out of this sweet ride, right, comes this man in a white suit, and he's saying that the guy that's trudging towards him with the manhole cover around his neck is his brother. He's like, "Oh, brother of mine, look at you now." Then another white car shows up, and you have two guys coming out with like these Letterman jackets, it almost looks like.
They're kind of like a bunch of greasers.
There they are.
Yeah.
One asks, if he was planning to leave without saying goodbye. This is their uncle. So the two guys that just showed up are the sons of the first guy in the white suit.
You will learn the guy in the white suit's name is Drake, and his two sons are Ivan and Slick. And this guy in the manhole cover is basically trying to say, I've always been your favorite uncle. You don't want to throw me down this manhole.
But they do.
Yeah, they do.
They literally throw him down. So now it's just his head above a street, and like the rest of his body would be underneath the street.
Can we all agree that he'd probably die from that fall? So basically what the characters do is they're holding Danny McBride by each arm, and they kick his feet in so that he falls straight into the manhole opening. The manhole that he's wearing around his neck, the cover, fits perfectly in the hole. That would that not rip his head off? I feel like just from the force.
Snap his neck.
Or yeah, like that.
Most likely dislocate his spine, like the neck and everything, but unless he falls with a specific amount of force, like definitely has potential to rip your like neck and body off and snap your neck, but I don't think that automatically would kill you.
He was a heavy guy. He was like 250. Hey,
I mean, it seemed like it did what it was supposed to. It pretty much disconnected some of his nerves.
Well, I'm going to throw it out here anyway. This movie takes a lot to kill people to begin with. We're going to get to scenes where people would have instantly died.
That is token grindhouse, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't bother me that this happens this way.
You don't mind some gore here and there. This movie really gives you all the deaths.
I was going to say it's more fake. Like where certain movies, maybe more Eli Roth goes for the real, like what would actually happen if you slice your eyeball out of your head. Whereas this is like your head just explodes for whatever reason, kind of like a lot of blood kind of shit. Not
the
just
blood shoots out like a Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a little less realistic, so it's a little more bearable for more squeamish, I would think.
I don't know. I have a couple friends who only listen to the podcast because they don't like to watch that specifically, so I feel I need to warn them. If you guys were still interested, Ivan and Slick are driving a Bricklin. It's a Canadian-made sports car from the mid-70s.
Nice.
It's a Corvette ripoff, 100%.
Yes. And I do have a please explain to me for this scene as to where the flying fuck that girl came from that started dancing. Like, I was so confused.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Like, before that, she's shown for like a hot second, but other than that, you don't really see where she comes from.
It was a real hot second. Like,
is
she the new hot boy? Because I didn't see her. And then when she came on screen, I was just like, I mean, it's a great show, but where did you come from?
I have a theory.
You know what? Let's take it back real quick.
Whoa, Scott, take it easy there.
So
hold on.
Logan tells his brother that he's no longer his brother, so he puts the barbed wire noose around his head. The hobo is watching this whole thing happen. For context, so you know.
He's watching it very closely.
Slick guns the car, and it rips his uncle's head off, shoots blood into the air like it's fucking Old Faithful from Yellowstone, and a girl in her underwear dances in the blood.
I thought it was an old bikini.
Yeah.
It's a bikini, okay.
He is looking away. He's disgusted. He is just done with this whole scene. Like you mentioned, this girl rushes into the blood because she has to bathe in the blood for clout. But she does it, and she does it well. And it's just like covered in her, and she's like putting it in her mouth. And I'm like, where did this girl come from? You don't see her in any other shot on the street, I'm pretty sure. I didn't
Well, they
see her.
said that you see her for a brief second.
For
Okay.
a brief second when they show up.
She took a red eye from Amsterdam because she knew Shane would be reviewing this, and she wanted Shane to see it.
That's
I
right.
don't think that's accurate. What I was thinking, more likely, she was there, and as soon as she saw the man go into the manhole, she's like, "This is my moment to shine." Someone get their TikTok ready.
I don't think they had TikTok then.
True, it would have been Vine. Get your Vine ready.
It's so strange. There a date?
There is no date. I don't think there is. I think it's just supposed to be like modern times.
because
You
you know
really
they have.
can't tell the date by like what they're wearing either, because everyone's either homeless, a sex worker, or some weird gangster.
And those TVs, those are old school TVs that they're listening to like the news reports to in the
But-
store windows.
That's
Yeah.
because they're in like a pretty shit area. I would think that would be my like all these people. I feel like none of them work, like none of them do anything. They just all live in like a shit post-apocalyptic, away from the rest of the world town, coexist together.
All right,
It
They're
was
so
doing
like-
coke in the arcade.
I'm just gonna take a quick trip to Detroit, and then I'll see some of those TVs.
Whoa!
I didn't say that.
No reason to take a shot at Detroit.
Detroit's great. It's the Motor City.
Don't exile our Detroit audience.
No, but you live in a shithole.
Yikes! So
I figure this town is like a town where they were like, the purge sounds like a great idea, and then everyone was just like, but what if we don't stop?
Yeah, pretty much. Brian, were you going to mention that during this bloodbath show, there is, I don't know, 50 townspeople looking on this whole thing? And the Drake being like the great character he is, this is where you kind of learn like the Drake is the shit of the town because he is literally doing this with nobody saying anything and he's running the show and he just kills someone in front of 50 townspeople, just forces them all to watch.
You're right. I think it's important to note that he's making this like it's a televised show. Like this is
Yeah.
entertainment. You're watching the Drake.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's so like bold about this. He takes the head and mounts it onto his car and drives away with the head mounted on his car.
Not to mention that when like he's presenting this show and nobody claps because he's scaring the shit out of them, his son like fires off a shotgun in the air or something and makes everybody clap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right in the beginning. He forces them to clap because like everyone is mortified by this whole setting and this whole scene. But he forces Ivan to just shoot the gun in the air and make them clap, and so they have
You know
a whole
what?
audience.
I don't think they're that terrified. Maybe a couple, because after this is all over, they all just walk away like nothing just happened.
Like they're used to it.
Yeah.
This is Tuesday.
You got to understand it probably happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were
So-
people, like, there were women crying in the background and stuff, but that, it wasn't like, you literally get a shot of everyone just walking away and going home. Like, nothing happened.
They look like drones, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah.
this is just another, day in the fucking shitty life of this town, Hope Town or
Scum Town.
Scum Town or Suck Town.
All of it. Since the hobo doesn't have a house to walk back to, he sees a store which is selling a lawnmower for $49.99. And he wants this lawnmower. So he comes with a plan to get some cardboard, some markers, and to make a sign to get hobo money, as a hobo does.
Absolutely. He's fed up with the old tricks, Shane. He's writing up a sign that says, needs $5 for kids who lost legs, but he doesn't even want to write that up.
No, because he's like, you know what? I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm just going to be a straight shooter. I need money for a lawnmower.
I'm very tired.
Yeah. And I respect his honesty.
It kind of works. People are like chucking change at him.
Yeah, some people spit on him.
I mean, you're going to get that, though. A couple of punk
Thought they
rocks.
threw up on him.
Or was that? I thought he just spit on his sign.
Yeah, I
You get
thought it
it.
was
It's a
spit.
bunch of fucking dirty bastard kids, you fucking kids, you bitches, you pricks, you fucking stupid kids.
What I called them was hooligans.
Yeah.
But I guess you could call them all that too.
I like that better.
To be fair, the next scene might go towards what Brian was saying, so we'll get to that. Where they end up.
Oh yeah, okay. So we actually could pretty much go right into it. They then instantly steal a man.
Yeah. No, they just drag this guy. They just poach him. It's almost like out of existence. Like they just take him out. But no, they drag him back to their lair.
Yes.
The Drake house.
So before we go into the lair, just a quick scene of the hobo throwing his sign into a burning dumpster, because there's burning dumpsters everywhere. And then we go into the Drake hangout.
In LA, what do you got? You got the Sway house. What's the other one? I forgot the other one.
Oh, you got Steven Seagal's Flop House and
The
Pistol Whip.
Soho house?
Forgot the other one. Whatever. You got all those like influencer houses, right? But in this town, in Hope Town, in Scumville, in Scum Town, Goonville, Scott, you got the Drake House. And there's always an event going on in the Drake House. Like right now, they're playing bumper cars.
But this isn't your ordinary bumper cars, because what you do is you put a man's head in between two of them, and then you bump into it.
This is all crush the brain bumper cars.
Yes. But that's also not the only game they're playing, because they're also playing hit the foot with a mallet.
This is the fat man that they poached from the
Yeah.
street. They just destroyed this guy's foot. And it's like interesting because the way it looks is like they're just smashing a ceramic that's exploding with blood.
Yes. All of this scene is heads exploding, feet exploding, with like just blood shooting everywhere. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, then the son, Slick, he's the primary kid of Drake. He holds up a kid named Otis for money, but he hasn't gotten his allowances yet from his mother. And he's begging because he's got to pay Slick back. And then one of the girls that's there tells him, Slick, let it slide. And he's pissed at this.
Bri, I'll give you the honors. What does Slick respond to this girl?
The only thing I'm going to let slide is my dick in your pussy.
Why'd you emphasize the end of it that way?
I texted you immediately after watching this movie, and I was like, I know what your fucking quote is. I know what your quote is going to be. I was like, you could do so much better than this.
We discussed
I knew
it.
that was coming.
This was the quote. There's no doubt about it. This line had me. It just like, it's very me. It's let me slide my dick in your hoo-ha, Shane. Yours, Shane.
Yeah, in mine? No.
I do want to take it away from the sliding real quick when you get back into that.
Are we
Did
taking
you
it back?
notice?
Or are we taking it away?
No. It's just a mention. Did you notice what game Otis was playing?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, he was playing,
He was playing an arcade game.
yeah, it was Galaga.
Not even close.
Street Fighter.
Pac-Man.
Nope. It was The Plague.
Ah.
Oh. A little foreshadowing.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like they were trying to go for a Lovecraftian thing, but they didn't want to do any Lovecraft shit.
Well, I didn't realize the end of this movie was also the end of Mandy, so it was fascinating.
I feel like this movie reminded me of Mandy and
Yeah, it's weird because I saw Mandy, I think first, before I saw this movie.
maybe.
And I never really put one and two together, like how
You're such
isn't
an
that the
asshole.
plague at the end of Mandy
I
as
think
well?
Shane, what did you put together?
1 and 2.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, Shane will be putting 1 and 2 together all review.
Yeah, sliding.
I'm going to
Moving
slide
on.
right into the next segment, which is Slick breaking this kid's arm over the joystick.
Yeah, he just had to do it. He takes the arm and he just smashes it. It's going in a completely different direction.
Now, Slick is also a good guy here, and I question his financing because he sees the kid in so much pain, he throws a comically large pile of cocaine on top of the arcade machine and shoves the kid's face into it.
Where did he have that ant pile of coke? Did he have it in his pocket?
I don't know,
Oh.
but now this is where I'm getting at. He's a nice guy because now he's taking away that kid's pain from the broken arm, but also isn't he asking the kid for money for cocaine? So why would he give him this much more?
The kid said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I used all the money in the arcade." He's literally at Slick's arcade. Can't you let it slide a little bit?
And when he throws down the coke, everybody rushes.
The ravenous horde. It's like when a house leaves their bowl of candy on the porch and then the kids storm it
Yeah.
like it's Normandy.
It's like, yeah. It's like a fucking
Question.
There's a lot of references there. Jesus.
When we see this kid later in the
I
movie,
agree.
closer to the end, does he not have a broken
does not.
arm?
No.
Nope. I thought the exact same thing.
To be fair to this movie, if there's one thing I learned, these doctors can fix anything.
That's surprising because
Yeah,
the way that his
yes.
arm broke, you'd think he'd actually probably lose that arm. It was that bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I was hoping.
The girl,
Yeah.
yeah. Talk about the girl. Her name is Abby. She is leaving. She's walking away, but Slick catches up with her. He tells her that his dick is thirsty and he has a lot of cash.
Which is kind of all she needs to hear.
Yeah, they're going to go into another room, and Hobo's watching all of this, and he's going to follow them. And Slick, he's not a very gentle lover. He's a little aggressive, to say the least.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she's not into the idea of him being aggressive and then taking her to this car that he has roll up.
You mean the car with the guy with the mask?
Yes.
From
Ooh,
Happy Death Day.
Oh, like the idea that he's actually not going to pay her and he'd rather kill her.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
really
why she didn't
curious.
like that idea.
I'm really curious, what the idea there was. What was going to happen?
Oh, the idea completely was he was going to kidnap, rape her, and dump her in one of the burning dumpsters.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. But she's lucky because there's a hobo.
Just a hobo. He doesn't have a shotgun yet.
No shotgun yet.
No, he's not special.
But he kind of is because he fends off Slick with just a cane and a coin sock.
That's true. And
When
he
socks
doesn't-
hurt.
No, they definitely do. I've seen them used in wrestling.
Yeah, he knocks him down. And then he hits him again on the ground. He hits him a couple times from Mother Teresa. Then he carries Slick's body to the police station, drops him on the front desk, and asks for the chief.
And the chief comes, the hobo and the chief talk about the criminals. And the hobo's like, you got to get a dump truck and bring all this scum to the landfill.
Put him in the ground.
I was hoping for the story's sake at this point, because he seems to have such like a thing for justice. I thought the movie was leading into like him saying he used to be in the army or he used to be in a police force or something, like him having like reminiscent thoughts of his family when he was looking at the lawnmower earlier in the movie. And I really thought he was going to mention something like saying when I was in the police force or when I was in the army, like do a mention or something. Like I didn't think we were going to get backstory because the movie's not that long, but I thought it was going to mention something like that. So when it took the route that it did, I was like, oh, missed opportunity.
They don't really talk and embellish about how skilled this man is. He can fight. He definitely knows how to wield weapons. They don't really cross that. But I think in terms of like homelessness, aren't a good amount of homeless people veterans? I know a good amount of homeless people are mentally ill.
Yeah, both true.
He's
not mentally ill. He could definitely be a veteran the way he wields the shotgun soon. Like, also the way he beats Slick with a coin sock.
Yeah, that was impressive, for sure.
Also the amount of punishment he's about to take. Because now we're going to find out the chief, he says some of his officers are on the take for Drake and that, like, they're the problem. But as he's saying this, you see Slick, or is it Ivan?
It's Ivan.
Ivan peeking in through the door. And then you realize the chief is just an asshole. Ivan runs in. The chief holds down the hobo. And they carve Slick into his chest, right?
Scum.
Scum, that's what it is.
I actually couldn't even read it, so I didn't even know what that
I
was.
just made out the S. And I was like, Slick makes sense.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I had to go back and actually see it. It could have been better.
Wait. So did you take it back?
On my own, I took it back.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. This is my first instance where I'm like, okay, so anything is possible, because this wound never really gets stitched up, and they carved really deep into his chest.
Yeah, this thing was bleeding so deep. This will require a ridiculous amount of stitches.
But what he does get instead of stitches,
He doesn't throw him off a roof, right?
yes, they throw him off a roof into a dumpster because every day is garbage day. I'm just throwing out all the references right now.
It's true.
All the
That's
dad
right.
jokes.
You see Abby now being solicited by the bald guy.
The dude in the car.
The one who says something about her being so good looking, he could cut his dick off and rub it all over her tits.
Yeah, something like that. He's super demanding.
Is he another cop? Is he the cop that talks
Yes.
about how hot she is later?
Yes,
We
it's the
don't-
same
yeah,
cop.
We don't know that yet, though.
She's obviously trying to get her money tonight. She is a woman of the night.
She's a working girl.
Exactly. And as this guy is obviously saying things that would turn any normal human off, like I would cut my dick off and rub it on your tits,
That would make me really hot.
would it make you rock hard?
I would come.
Okay. So the hobo then falls onto her as this is happening. And that's when she takes the hobo to her apartment to help him.
She's not even into it. She's just like, can we get this over with? Come on.
I don't blame her.
And you could tell from the scene,
Gotta make her book.
she's a lonely person. She has a blank picture frame that he points out. So she has no one in her life at the moment besides a big dick. She cleans him up, and he doesn't want to impose by staying, but she insists. She's lonely. She wants him to stay. She provides him a bear sweater so he doesn't bleed on the bed. It's very important. He tells her about the bear. It's an isolated animal that if you get in its inner circle, it'll just rip your face off and kill you. So for anybody out there that wants to get a tussle with a bear, don't.
I mean, I've seen Leonardo DiCaprio get into a tussle with a bear and live and then get revenge on the other people that caused this to happen to him and left him. So if he could do it.
I mean, that's true. And according to Hobo, if a bear gets hooked on human blood, it becomes a man killer and must be destroyed.
Scott, is that true?
Based on all my schooling and education, that's 100% a fact.
Scott, you watch NASCAR. We need to know about hunting. We know you took down a couple of bears.
What?
The two totally correlate.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I can't let you have that one.
Isn't that a crossbow in your wall in back of you? You got a mounted couple of bucks?
No.
Is that the flying buck from Santa's sleigh?
Oh my God. What a throwback.
Fucking Leon Kennedy, bro.
Oh, I got him mixed up for a buck. Would you look at that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Same thing. It's Sam Fisher, Leon Kennedy, The Mandalorian, and Die Hard. But,
Nice,
whatever.
not gonna
The
fuck.
best Christmas film ever.
There
It is. That's what I like to hear. Another thing that Abby says,
Let's take it back.
well, Technically, yes.
Let's put 1 and 2 together.
Because I need to mention this because it's important for later. The Hobo suggests that Abby should be a teacher instead.
I don't know where he got that from.
If I actually saw Abby, the first thing I would think is teacher.
Really?
Why?
Hoffer
Because she's
teacher?
caring. She did care for him.
Yeah.
In the place.
And
mean,
she just like looks
anybody-
like a teacher.
Anybody could be a teacher. Even the creepy guy talking about rubbing his dick on girls' chests. Like,
If he taught at high school, that'd be accurate.
quick, name all the convicted sex offenders.
hate to say it.
We would need a new podcast episode.
Oh my god.
After we have this nice bear talk, he suggests her to be a teacher. She wraps him in a nice Afghan. The next day, the Hobo leaves very early in the morning before she even wakes up. Leaves her a nice note.
It thanked her for the bed, and I think that's it.
Oh, so yeah, a very nice note.
It basically
And he
just
put-
thanked her about the bed and said from bear, and he put a bear photo in the picture frame.
That's right.
Yeah, the
Okay,
empty
that's what I was
picture
thinking
frame.
of. So, of note, when the Hobo is out and about, he sees Santa Claus kidnapping a little girl.
Oh, is he kidnapping her? Or I'm thinking of a later one when he has a shotgun.
No, this one you clearly see Santa driving and a young girl in the back of his car pounding on the window.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Then he walks up to Bumfight Guy
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'll take your $10 offer." And you see him break the bottle over his head. But Bumfight Guy's not done.
No, he's not. He
Yeah.
picks it up and he puts it in his mouth.
Yeah. And then the guy offers him $20, right? It's $20 to eat the glass.
Yeah. But Hobo's going to make another stop at Pawn of the Dead and goes in.
Yes, because you now know he was doing these bum fights to make up his money to buy the lawnmower for $49.99. But this bum has had no luck. So as soon as he gets into the store is being robbed by 3 men in masks.
It's like he touches the lawnmower. He gets a good grip on it with both hands, left and right. And there's 3 robbers that just boom in the store, weapons ready to go. I think they take a store patron hostage. There's a gun that's pointed at the clerk. More to come on this clerk in a second. And there's
a gun
another.
that's pointed at the baby.
Yeah, this is a grand heist. This is not a simple operation. This is a heist.
It's smart they're pointing the gun at the baby because the baby might know karate.
You
That's
never know.
fact.
There may be a little first hand in that kid.
Yeah.
Based
now,
on my education and schooling, most babies know karate. That is a fact.
this is why we have you on, Scott.
Have you ever seen that YouTube video, Baby with a Gun?
No.
That's
Oh,
I know
I'll have to
what we're
send you
watching
later.
after this.
yeah. I'm gonna watch a couple of babies with Glocks.
if anyone knows that like reference from the 2000s, Baby with a Gun, look it up on YouTube. If it's not taken down, I'll let you know after this.
It does sound familiar.
Yeah, it
but
sounds
I
familiar.
haven't seen it.
What I want to point out, and I know Brian can't wait to point out, is the store clerk.
Yeah, let's talk about this store clerk. So no one will know in passing who this guy is. So the director of this movie also directed a segment of a movie called ABCs of Death. ABCs of Death is there's like a 5 to 7 minute.
Short movie based off of the alphabet.
Yeah.
So one director got the letter A, one director got B, all the way through Z. Now this director got Y.
Got why. Same director
His
that did
was
Hobo.
Young Buck.
Yeah, and the store clerk was the star of that Young Buck segment.
Was
And-
he?
Yeah,
Yes.
and his duties were good because he was the janitor, but he also moonlighted as a child predator who would lick their sweat off of their locker rooms, off of the gym floor and the bleachers. Swell guy. I'd go to lunch with him, Longhorn.
Yeah.
So they based this character on Shane. What are you trying to say?
Wow.
Yes.
That's very harsh.
Look, man. These are the things that I've heard about you in high school. You were a big sweat licker.
Actually, in high school, I didn't leave my house. So, yeah, not a sweat
Shane
licker.
was training for the pandemic.
Yes.
he's been training since 06.
My high school consisted of me tenting out in Brian's backyard and playing Monopoly.
That's true.
I actually don't remember the Young Buck one. There were very few. I only watched the first ABCs of Death. Surprise for many of you, there's more than one, but I only needed to watch the first one. It's so long.
Long.
It's like a 2.5-hour movie, the first one.
So there's ABC of Death 1, 2, and 2.5, which is like all of the ones that didn't.
it was
make
like
the second
runners
one.
up. It was runners up to the second one.
Where can I watch that?
They used to be on
Netflix. They're not.
Netflix. I
Netflix.
don't think they are anymore.
Okay.
Amazon.
Honestly, I would recommend ABCs of Death. I know this isn't an ABCs of Death review, but They're so fucking batshit crazy, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like F is for fart, always will stick out in my mind.
If you like anthology horror,
Yeah.
right up your alley.
Because they're all done by different directors, they're done by directors from different countries. So the letters to you might not be the same as the letters to them, which surprised me because I went into that movie maybe how long ago?
Movie's been out for a
like
while.
6 or 7 years ago I watched that, and A, no desire to watch it again. B, it would be so long. Like, it would take such a long time for us to review that movie, and it would be hard to describe because we also can't pronounce most of those words.
Yeah, it would be a tough review. It's one that we actually have talked about early on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It would be tough to review. So that's why we're reviewing Hobo with a Shotgun.
We gotta take it back to
Yes.
this movie.
Now
There
we
we
are
go.
back in this heist where this is my favorite scene of the movie. The hobo looks over to his side and sees that shotguns are also $49.99. What a convenience.
And this is getting heightened because these robbers are threatening the clerk. It will kill the girl and the baby if they don't get their money from the register. Young Buck's got to get the money.
Yeah, so he grabs the shotgun and blows these guys away. Like, no hesitation.
3 robbers are instantly destroyed by Hobo shotgun.
Yes. And he goes up to one guy who's still alive. He calls him a vulture and then blows his head off. And now we are full into Hobo with a shotgun. Like,
Yeah, he has the shotgun, but I would like to take it back. You know, he tells the one guy before he kills him, he's like, I want you to tell your grave robbing friends. And then he kills the guy. So, like,
Yeah,
what
that
was the
didn't make
point?
any sense.
it doesn't, because everyone knows dead men tell no tales.
What are we, pirates now?
Exactly.
I was thinking like the only reason he killed him was because he like started to scream, but it's not like he's a killer and like doesn't want to be caught. It definitely didn't make any sense.
But the hobo pays for the shotgun plus a little extra.
He's a nice guy. So he instantly leaves the store and he goes and shoots the bum fight man.
Yeah.
And then makes him eat the VHS tape.
Yeah, this guy's a little mouthy. He likes to stick things in his mouth. He's a very oral guy. And now he's going to put the tape in his mouth. And he hits him in the face with his gun. And that's the end of that guy.
I just thought of a loophole.
Let me hear it.
Where does he get all the bullets?
Don't do that.
I didn't thought of that until this exact moment.
We're halfway
Yeah.
into the movie and he uses about 400 bullets, so like or shotgun shells. Let's not.
Okay.
I didn't want to be that person to
To
bring
be
that up.
fair to this movie, that's any action movie you watched. Me and Brian have recently watched Pistol Whipped starring Steven Seagal. And there's a shootout in that movie where they shoot, what would you say, like 70 bullets from their handguns?
Steven Seagal is the greatest actor of all time.
Steven Seagal, we will eventually one day on this podcast make an exception and record a Steven Seagal action flick.
There's a horror movie. He's done a horror movie.
Yeah,
with
he
vampires.
has. I just want to talk about Black Dawn because
I
he's
know.
the wizard of the 3-night stand.
Oh my god.
This movie definitely gives time in between shots for him to reload, whereas some movies like you see 70 shots from a handgun without you seeing them reloading. But like this one, there's definitely time, but you just don't know where the shotgun shells are coming from. Like
True.
he could have it behind him, but you just don't see it. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't make sense either there. So
You
But
also
that's-
never see him reload.
yeah, but that's where I'm saying
Yeah.
you're right for 100%. But that's where I'm saying like there is time off screen where he did have a chance to reload.
Now, going back to the movie, though, he's going to show that he has more bullets. He's going to go up to a pimp who we had seen in the background, like kind of like roughhousing a girl earlier. He gets the girl to run away and then actually off screen kills this guy.
Yes. Yeah, this guy's dead now because of the shotgun and the hobo that has the shotgun.
Correct.
Somehow this girl's still going to school, though, because isn't her pimp yelling at her about doing homework?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. Now, I don't even know how he finds this next place.
Oh, the Coke Den?
Yes, we cut to 2 guys downstairs in their coke den.
It's like me 4 years ago.
Yes, where 3 girls are chained up behind them. So was that also like you 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
And-
what is this? House of a Thousand Corpses? I was
I
so
know, right?
confused.
Yeah, I had this weird past where I would just chain girls up and just smack Coke in my face.
And they're just like, are we ordering food? Or
We doing Taco Bell?
they're like, I understand that this is your kink and like we just have to stand here, but can we get food?
Susie has to pay, Bri. Let her out.
Let her out.
Obviously,
Wait, they're not still down there, right?
I don't know. I don't go in Brian's basement
That's-
anymore. It scares me.
As far as we know, they might be.
They're in there.
So the hobo walks in obviously blasts both of these guys and saves the 3 girls because he is the hero now.
A lot of blasting.
Because now he's also going to go
Are you sure he
outside.
saves them? Because there's no scene of him cutting them down.
They don't die right then and there.
No,
That's
there isn't, but he is doing this to like help people.
What if like he shot the 2 cokeheads, like, and the girls were screaming, then he does it to save them, but then he looks at the girls, he was like, well, good luck. And they're just like, wait, we're still chained.
Oh, I need to get out of here. This is Brian LaGrosse's house from 4 years ago all over again.
I don't think that's what happened. I like to think the hobo saved them.
He's on a war path.
Yeah, he is.
I like to think he was just on a roll and left them, and they just sat there and just were like, what the fuck is happening?
He was on a roll and he went to go eat a roll because he was starving.
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry myself. The next scene is Pedo Santa, like watching kids in the playground.
He's getting a good view of them too, because he got a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, and he sticks his shotgun in Pedo Santa's face, and I believe he says jerk off to this and blows his head off. And now Drake is seeing this on TV. And this is when Drake realizes he needs to get rid of this problem, so he shoots his TV.
I mean, you have to understand, the spotlight now is being turned on this vigilante, and it's away from Drake, who's obviously the big influencer of Scumville or Scum Town.
I thought it was because he was giving everyone else courage to also stand up.
That is true.
There
as
is
well.
also that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So he didn't care that there was a vigilante because he's like, everybody kill for whatever. But the fact that like he's giving everyone else courage is what Drake doesn't like, because Drake needs everybody to fear him.
But I feel like a big part of him is the fact that he wants people to, like you said, like live in fear, but he doesn't want anyone to steal us, because he refers to himself as the king, I think, a couple of times in
He
this.
does.
And I think he wants to maintain like a status.
Yes. And before we say anything else, just need to point out 3 women are naked beating up a man who's chained upside down.
Because, dude, this is the place to be. You got to be at the Drake house if you're in Scum Town.
They were really enjoying their time too. I was very shocked to see how much of a good time they were having doing that.
Oh, they're just laughing, beating him with a bat, covered in
Hyped
blood.
up on coke.
Yeah.
There's just so much coke in this movie. It's grand.
Brings Brian back.
Brings me back. Drake is finding out that his son was actually roughed up by the hobo. Tells him, he's like, son, you have a lot of potential, but you got to think bigger. Like you said before, Jen, you got to think of people's fear. Everybody in this town has to have a show that they'll never forget. They need to remember his name forever. Like, that's the big onus that this family kind of tries to embody within this town. They try to be tyrants and enforced by fear. So Slick and Ivan, they're going to head onto a bus full of children. And they're going on this bus with a flamethrower. And he asks politely, hey, kids, or should I even maybe turn this to Shane? Hey, Shane, do you like school?
I'm the kid on the bus? Yeah, I like school, Bri.
Do you like ice cream?
Of course I do. Who doesn't? I don't like it as much as you, but...
Do you like bicycles?
Yeah, I actually do.
Do you like hobos?
Big fan.
So are all the kids. But Slick says that he hates hobos, and he lights the bus on fire to the tune of Disco Inferno.
Burn, baby, burn. Copyright infringement.
We actually
burn,
we sang
baby,
that.
burn.
The burning, right?
We did.
And of course, this is a hard news report to take. And the hobo and other townspeople that you'll see, probably the same people until they die by the hands of Drake, they're seeing these news reports of the grisly deaths on the kids in the bus. And while they're watching this news report, Ivan's actually on the news set, and he throws an ice skate at the anchor, and it just sticks like deep within his chest.
Yeah.
And then Slick then heads to the camera, right in front of the camera. He's got a message for all the kids. He pulls out the skeleton of a human corpse, and it's like, this is what you get if you'll follow the hobo instead of Drake. And then he proposes a new game, and it's called Gutter Tag, where all homeless people are it, and everyone else gets to kill them. All of them. So he's putting a mark out on all the homeless people in Scum Town.
Now that everyone wants to kill homeless people, you see the hobo sitting down by a river. And while he's sitting by the river, it's a montage of homeless people being murdered.
Yeah.
You see one get crushed by a crane. You see a homeless mother and her baby get burned alive in a dumpster.
That was the most fucked up one for sure.
Yeah.
Because they really honed in on that scene too. Like, it was long.
Yeah. It's the only technical baby kill. There's a lot of children killed, but that's like a baby murder. And I haven't seen a baby murder like that since Feast 2.
I fucking knew you were swinging that one up. I feel like that was an E-fist and you were just cracking that one
It
out.
was, because for some reason, I've been taking it back to a lot of movies, a lot of references. In Feast 2, a man is holding a baby, and then he throws the baby into the sky, as bait so he can get away, and the monsters in Phase 2 just eat this baby.
Like I said, there is a montage of hobos getting killed, and the cops have fully committed to killing.
Yeah.
You knew they were corrupt, but now they're fully committing. They're like, let's just round up and kill all the hobos.
There's one specific police officer when they're going out and getting ready to kill the hobos, and there's one that yells something into the camera. Oh, that they say we're all corrupt or something.
Yeah.
That's David Brunt, the original hobo in the Grindhouse fake trailer. That's the only cameo I can specifically remember, but he's in a lot of other scenes just in the background. He doesn't really have lines, but that was one where he was just like right up front. So that was our intended hobo for this movie originally.
Cool.
No, it's interesting. I like that. I like little like Easter eggs like that.
I like that he was still able to be in several, at least cameos.
Yeah.
In the movie.
So now things are going to get very, very interesting because Abby is walking down the street at night, and the cop from earlier is now seen discussing prostitutes with his friend. And he has some choice lines, like one being, you can't beat your wife like you can beat a whore.
Well, he loves the smell of her asshole, and, she's like, my legs are closed for the night.
So the bald guy starts to just chase her down the street because he was not having any of this. He was one of those people that he never heard the word no. So now when he hears it, he can't accept it.
Well, no, and he's going to chase her down, and she's going to fall to the ground, and he's going to take off his pants.
Yeah.
And jacket.
Ah, nice. I see what you did there.
I tried.
But the hobo shows up while this is happening. And the cop basically is like, what are you doing? She's just a fuck tube. Great word.
Fuck tube. Yeah, nice.
The hobo blows his head off.
Yeah,
Let's just throw it out there.
He's blowing him up. She's a teacher, and he blows his head off. Teacher, head off. And he repeatedly shoots this guy with the shotgun. Even when she's like, stop it. He's just using all the ammo he has.
Because he has infinite ammo.
Yeah, this is like old school NES games where you have like all the artillery you need. Like, what is that? Metal Slug? You can just fucking shoot forever.
Contra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just say Contra too.
They see the group of people like storming, pitchforks out, got the torches, and they have to hide the hobo. And I love this. So Abby just starts pushing a cart with a dead body, and the hobo hides in the carcass.
And nobody questions it because it's carcass.
Yeah, because they do make it look like she killed the hobo.
Sheik or she?
She.
Killed?
I kind of combined she killed into Sheik.
I like Sheik illed.
No, she runs
Dude,
away.
I can't pronounce things, okay? I have a speech impediment. We don't have to bring this up every episode.
You actually might have been fine. I just heard it that way because I like the word chic. Because I want to be one.
So she's pretending that she's running away with the cop over the cart that she's pushing away. Because she says something along the lines of like, go get him, like the hobo killed this cop, like go get him. And she goes the opposite way of the mob.
I don't even remember saying that. This is why we have you here, though, Scott, because you brought it back, and I didn't remember that.
That's what Scott's
you know
good
what?
at.
This time I didn't bring it back. You guys are making an embarrassment to my name because I have barely brought it back, and all you guys have been doing is bringing it back. You're taking my name.
I'm very sorry.
He sounds upset.
He's hurt. But it's okay.
It's a culture. Bring it back, culture.
Bring it back, culture. So back at Abby's house, she asks him where he went after he left their house. And he's like, I just wanted to buy a lawnmower, start my own business. And Abby's like, yeah, we can just, get out of town where they have nice big lawns and we could just get out and we could do this and we can mow these lawns. They'll use Hobo's slogan for their business. You grow it, we cut it.
I love how into mowing Abby is.
Is it like hot for you?
Yeah.
She just wanted to get out. She was like, all right, this guy kind of cares about me. Let's leave.
He's also like triple her age, but it's fair. I mean,
but it's not a sexual thing. It's a business relationship.
It really wasn't a sexual
thing.
It
never is in this movie, and I like that they did it that way.
They didn't go for the sexual route. But I feel like it could have been in time.
You never know. Anything's possible.
She admits she doesn't have a lot of money, but he tells her, they'll hop on a train, they'll get a job, and they will start saving up. This is the plan.
When she starts packing, she starts to pack the TV. Oh, and then the hobo's like, we don't need the TV. And she just throws it on the floor.
She smashes it on the floor, that's right.
Oh, I love
just
that scene.
Fuck the TV.
It's, yeah, that scene's great.
Thing is, though, it's skate rape time, as Slick would call it.
Yeah.
And Slick and Ivan are walking up to this place. Ivan is walking on ice skates, which has got to hurt the bottom soles of your feet, right?
Yeah.
I'm not alone here.
One thing I will bring up, I hate doing this to Scott. Let's take it back. They're only going here because the kid who Slick broke earlier,
Otis,
he calls them to inform them that they're in this place.
Correct.
I'm sorry, Scott.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
So they bust through the door, and before the hobo can grab the gun, Ivan cuts him with the ice skates and starts beating him on the ground. And when I say cut him with the ice skates, he is going in on him.
On his back, yeah.
Dude, yeah, he's slicing the back up. And Slick throws a glass bottle at Abby, and then he sticks his fingers in her mouth, which is something I love to do to Shane once in a while.
He has done it.
Sometimes a little mustard on my fingers, and asks if she fears him. But she takes a piece of that glass and she cuts him right in the face. But then she makes a mad dash for her room and she locks the door. Ivan continues to kick and slice up the hobo's back as he tries to reach for the gun, and the hobo's able to get it and start hitting Ivan with it. Now, Slick is able to get into Abby's room, and as she begs him not to kill her, he wants to wipe off his blood with her blood, so he starts sawing her throat.
So, please.
Please explain to me.
And I don't really need to explain because I get it because it's this type of movie, but how does this girl live through this neck sawing? There's a lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood. You see a lot
there's definitely a lot of blood.
vocal cords would have been severed too. Like, there's a lot of questions. I don't know.
It's like right in between where the jugular would be and then the front of your throat. It's like if like the little slightest possibility of her actually living through this, he must have like just cut that perfect corner where you wouldn't immediately bleed to death.
You're saying this guy's got a profession in being a butcher. Like, this guy is legit.
Well, he's basically just Hannibal Lecter. He knows
True.
what to do.
Hobo right now, he's blocking Ivan's kicks with his gun, and then he's able to fire off a shot with his shotgun, but Ivan does get back up, and he kicks him again. This time, Hobo has a toaster in his hand, and he electrocutes Ivan, to the point where he's legitimately fried,
Yeah.
and Hobo's gonna go check on Abby. Ivan does actually, even though he just got literally electrocuted, he does get back up, because everybody gets back up in this movie.
No one dies.
And he notices how cooked his arm is. Like, his arm is fucked.
Boiling.
It's
He tells-
fantastic.
It's crazy.
It's like a roasted marshmallow, but on his hand.
Yeah.
Appetizing.
So the hobo walks into Abby's room now, and he stops the other guy, right, from doing this saw. This is also then we learn Electro Bro is still alive.
Yeah, Electro Bro's still alive. He's yelling. He's like, you better kill that hobo. Better be killing him. But the hobo exits with a shotgun, and he's directly pointing it at Slick's dick.
Yeah, he's duct taped the shotgun to his dick.
Yeah, he did that quickly.
Very
Yeah.
quickly. Slick's just like, Ivan, leave. And he's like, bye. And he just like gets in the car and leaves. And outside, Slick is begging for him not to shoot him. But he shoots him in the dick. And you get a nice shot of his dick, which is now a shredded mess. It looks kind of like a tapeworm.
Yeah, it's really gross. He calls his dad and tells him like he's not going to make it. And then he sees the frying school bus that he had set on fire. And then he sees himself in it. And I assume that's the sign of him being transported to hell.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I thought that was really weird and interesting
Yeah.
why
very-
they chose to go that route.
It was out of character for the way the movie
Mhm.
was going up until that point, but then it continues on.
Yeah, like it kind of reminded me of Trick or Treat almost, like at the end where like the bus driver sees like all the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Took like a totally different turn than the way the movie had previously been going. And this is the point where the movie takes a turn where different things start showing up. And I'm just like, when did you get here?
Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. So the hobo rushes Abby to the hospital, and he demands her to be fixed.
He's like, fix her!
Yeah. So her neck is duct taped. The hobo is just pouring alcohol on it, and doctors are going to fix her. And this is when Drake says we need to summon the plague.
He needs to make a few calls. Those calls got to go to the plague.
Yes. Then we cut back to the hospital where Abby is definitely dying.
She's dying.
So a doctor jumps on her chest, starts punching her,
Stay with me, you fucking whore!
and she comes back to life. And that's why I said these are the best doctors ever, and why no one dies, because
There's another male doctor that jumps on top of her, too. You got
Yeah.
two doctors, the woman and the man. And
Yeah.
he's like, what is he doing? He's like compressing the blood in her throat. He's like slapping the blood back.
Yeah.
It's
He's
so
He's trying to give her
slapping
like
the bud.
CPR or something. It looked like he was trying to give her CPR, and then she breathes, and he's like in shock that he saved her somehow.
He's like,
He was like,
"Oh."
I can't believe that worked.
On to the next one. Out of Drake's house, bikers from Mandy come out with a coffin roped and dragged behind the bike.
Yep.
And they head out to kill the hobo.
yeah, this is absolutely wild.
Plague time. In the hospital, Abby wakes up to see the hobo. He gives her wilted flowers as a gift. It's a beautiful gift, these wilted flowers. She didn't see this coming. She probably didn't see life coming either. And she finds them beautiful. He tells her it's a parting gift and he's got to get back to work. But she's like, don't go.
You can't solve all the world's problems with a shotgun.
And he's like, it's all I know.
I fucking love that line because, like, obviously it's like jokingly serious. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's supposed to kind of be like a satire when someone's like, "Don't do this," and it's like, "It's all I know." Him just having this shotgun for the last 3 hours of real time. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. The next part of this movie is the monologue that kind of like pieces together the whole film.
Yeah.
And how like this town is so bad that like it's almost like these kids are so perfect and they're just gonna like live in this cycle of rampaging fear that everyone has for Drake and his squad in the Drake house.
I love the Drake house.
But yeah, this is the quote where he's like, "You're all perfect, no mistakes, no regrets. People are going to want you to be something special, but you'll end up selling your body on the street or shooting up dope like Scott, and you won't think twice about killing somebody's wife. You'll just end up being like me, a hobo with a shotgun, if you're lucky."
So after this great speech, which we all love,
in walks in two knockoff Boba Fett's.
Yeah, kind of.
Steampunk Boba Fett.
Yeah, literally.
A little bit, you know.
I turned around and I was just like, what? Who invited Boba Fett to this? And how much did they have to pay him to come in? Because that costume definitely, like, it ain't working for him. The back isn't as covered as the front.
No.
no.
Call him Boba Fett, the Mandy bikers, they enter the hospital. The doctor goes on a rant. The doctor kind of like sees these guys. He's like, "I am sick and tired of you." And he pulls out his gun and he starts shooting them. Too bad those bullets are just ricocheting off the armor.
Yeah.
One of the bikers ends up stabbing him in a machete before he even is able to really do any damage to them, and sends them right through the triage door where there are two more unfortunate doctors that are in a room, and they're sliced at the back of the leg. I believe they get ropes tied around their necks.
And they get shot into the ceiling, and it hangs all of them.
Fucking
So they all
harpoon up
are
there.
been hung
They
there.
harpoon it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. It's just like another flaw with the movie. The entire time watching this movie with how many people actually get killed in this movie. So do they plan on just like eventually killing the entire town? Because in order to be a ruler and to be feared, there has to be people.
Yeah, I don't think
And
Drake is concerned about that.
I think Drake's idea, so in the beginning of the movie when they have Danny McBride die, he's the contestant and he goes like, "You know how this works, like you were this week." I don't know if he says this week, but he's like, "You're the lucky contestant." He might have like a weekly thing where he just like makes an example out of someone that he doesn't like. But I think the plague killing everyone just happens to be part of them hunting the hobo down. Like they were in the way, so they die. But everyone else,
not even them, just like at the even back at like the Drake place when we initially go to the arcade, I'm just like, they're killing people left and right for fun. True. Like they're going to run out of people.
Yeah, that's true.
They gotta kill everybody that just like is staring onto all of these scenes.
But it's a big town, so I'm assuming they get a lot of drifters that just show up, and it keeps the population
Couple
up.
of grifters and drifters.
Exactly. So after all these doctors have been hung, the lights go out. So the hobo runs to go check on Abby. And when he's going, this is when he sees all these doctors hanging in the hallway. So he knows things are bad. So he gets to Abby's bed, but surprise, the plague is waiting in the bed.
Yeah, it's not Abby. It's the plague.
And the plague just knocks him out, throws him in the coffin, and he's gone. He's been taken.
He gets pretty fucking choked out.
But he does leave behind the shotgun for Abby.
Yes, and that's key. She sees the shotgun on the floor and she knows what she has to do. Outside, they put Hobo in the coffin. Like you said, they drive away before Abby's able to get there with the shotgun and scare them off with it, but they already left. So the scene's going to cut to the Hobo peeking through the coffin.
It's Cthulhu.
Yeah. He notices Mandy Bikers was like a Cthulhu-like creature, and they're speaking like possessions from the monster. So it's like this big thing is possessing these people.
Yeah, I don't think they're near a body of water because I don't know who invited the Kraken.
Why is it always Cthulhu?
I don't know. He's just like the big bad elder god. Just,
Yeah.
Did you... I'll go back if I have to.
I love it. I'm getting off to the idea of Scott going back.
No
Yeah,
joke.
he hasn't done it yet.
Hey, every time he does it, I get the cummies, so keep it coming.
So now Ivan shows up and tells the plague to put the hobo in the truck. And the hobo tells him,
You're in the shadow of your brother.
Yeah.
He calls him out on that. He's like, listen, I am the only son that Drake has left. He's like, I'm going to bite your face off. And then Ivan's like, I'm going to bash your teeth in and make a chainsaw out of them. And then he's like, spits a little smoke in his face, like kind of trolling him a little bit. And
In that very room before you move to the next scene, so I don't have to bring it back. Sorry, keep it in your pants this time.
damn it.
Did you notice when the plague puts up the hobo's picture and they mark it out with a red paint? Did you notice like what else was on that wall?
I noticed he was on that wall.
Oh, dude, this is huge. I think this is huge.
No, I did notice. It was Abraham Lincoln It was all the people that have been like assassinated and killed throughout history.
Jesus
so it's
Christ.
like the plague has Jesus Christ. So it's been the plague that's been killing all these people.
Yeah. So that
And
I
then
thought that was like
somehow
a
they
huge,
ended up in this town.
That was amazing.
Like,
so this just leaves so many unanswered questions in my mind. I try to get like too into stories, I guess. But like if they're killing those guys, does that mean Drake's been around for hundreds and thousands of years? Does that mean Drake has something to do with it? Or is Drake part of a bigger picture that has access to the plague, and that means that these cults or whatever you want to are like elsewhere?
Or is the plague just using Drake because they know they're that good and they're just like, oh, he seems to be in charge here. Let's make ourselves seem useful and then they'll leave us alone and we can go about our business.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously the supernatural entity at force, so I feel like they're, at the very least, on the top of everybody else.
Well, see, this is how I took it. If you want someone killed, you get the plague. And
But
that's
this is
why.
like
So they're putting...
but that's the comedy in this scene is that they're putting the hobo
the
up there
pedestal
with Jesus and Abe Lincoln. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's not, but that's what they're making him out to be. Yeah. This hobo is like the second coming of Jesus.
It's tough because Abraham Lincoln was also a vampire hunter. A lot of people don't understand that history.
It's true. I don't know why that wasn't.
Are we gonna watch that?
Based on my education and schooling, it is a fact that Abraham Lincoln has at least 10 kills under his vampire killing belt.
So we're just putting it out into the universe that you have to come back for that movie.
Pretty much.
Hey, my education and schooling cannot lie.
All right. Scott, you're coming back for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
There we
See
go.
you then.
All right. So now we finally cut to Abby, and she shoots out the store glass, and she goes and makes a lawnmower shield blade.
I like how you characterize that. It was some kind of makeshift propeller device. I could not explain it.
Yeah, I took it. It's like because she has the shotgun as her primary, and then her secondary hand shield with like the spinning blades to like kind of like defend herself.
She's fully loaded. She's ready to go.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So she
last
goes.
very long.
Well, she goes outside. She gives this rousing speech to all the other people, just saying, you know, we have to stand up to Drake. We can't like kill homeless people pretty much anymore.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, a broom is just not going to get it done. You know, it's not going to cut. That when you got to get a shotgun, it's more efficient.
And then we cut to Drake, and he's in this like Mad Max arena of some sort. Ivan starts shooting in the air to get the crowd's attention, and Drake introduces the plague and the hobo.
Yeah, we're back in the Drake show. It's a big show. It's a good show. And yeah, so he congratulates the plague as they bring out the hobo. They put a manhole cover around the hobo's neck, like we've seen in the beginning. As he's being taken to what he refers to as the glory hole.
Written in big words, glory hole.
He tells Hobo that his people think of him as a god. They fear him more than anything. And then Hobo is dropped into the glory hole. So only you see his head poking out of the hole. He mentions to Drake, eventually evil will turn against evil, and it'll wipe itself out, leaving nothing behind in the wreckage. And from behind Ivan, they hear a motor. Drake turns around and notices Abby standing there with the makeshift chainsaw blade, propeller,
shield,
threatening to chop Ivan up. Drake asks a plague biker, Boba Fett, whatever you want to call him, what he thinks, and the biker's like, replaceable, exterminate.
So yeah, so Drake
great.
literally just shoots his son and kills Ivan.
Literally just kills Ivan. Never had that much potential.
Nope.
Loudmouth.
The plague grabs Abby, but she starts shotgunning him and lawnmower shielding him. I don't know how else to describe it.
Pretty much.
Forgot that like the shield was a thing. I didn't really notice it until you said something.
Oh, it's so badass because she actually kills the plague with this shield.
Yep. And Drake is going to signal for the biker with the rope tied to the hobo's noose to drive away. Abby jumps off a car and cuts the rope with the axe, so it will stop that rope from taking off his head.
Yep.
He's safe for now. And then Drake appears behind her, and he's like, he'd love to shoot her, but his fans want more, so he grabs her head, and he pushes her towards the lawnmower propeller device.
She has questionable hand position here. Scott, you're the hand position guy. What do you think of her hand position while being pushed towards
her hand or her face? I really don't know how that would work.
She was like trying to do the whole, if you're getting pushed to the ground, like brace yourself, but you knew where you were going. So why would you put your hand into a lawnmower blade?
Because there's ground she could have planted on to try to hold herself up.
Good ground, yeah.
Instead, she puts her hand in the lawnmower.
Yeah,
like,
and this is,
you know what?
Dude, it's minced.
And if she didn't do that, she wouldn't have her next weapon.
This is true. Her hand goes into this lawnmower blade so much that it sharpens her bone.
Yeah.
So she's got sharp bone.
Yeah, this thing is a lethal weapon. It almost looks like her middle finger, too. She's like in the middle finger position.
Yeah.
And she stabs him in the stomach with it multiple times. And she's screaming in pain and anger and frustration, and there's literally blood everywhere. And the blood chunks of her hand look like quinoa on the floor, and she's going nuts. She's able to get Hobo out of the glory hole by pulling his hair.
One of the most disgusting scenes in the
Okay.
movie.
No, I don't understand that part whatsoever. As soon as she started doing that, I was just like, so you're going to use your one hand and your itty bitty finger bone to just pull him up. Bitch, you do not have that much strength. Are you
And her
joking?
bone-
You're hopped up on drugs.
Well, there's
Her
no way she
bone
actually...
would have just snapped in half when
Yeah.
she tried to like leverage the
You
thing,
guys
too.
are underestimating how much milk Abby used to drink.
That's
so
true.
she's got really strong bones.
She would never be able to do it, though, because I feel like if she even the second she put
can't
that on
afford
there,
milk.
she would probably pass out. There's no way she would be able to do that. But this is obviously more than fiction. You've seen the blood flow in this movie.
I thought that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen a movie do.
I absolutely loved it.
Another-
It was disgusting. It was actually hard to watch because like actually seeing her like bone being inserted to like lift the manhole, like
Yeah,
ugh.
this might be a take it back, or it could be bring it forward. Did you notice that the other plague said to Abby, "You killed Grinder. Now
That's
you have
coming
to
up
take
soon.
his place."
That's a take it forward. Can't wait until we do the next episode with Scott. Scott, let's take it forward.
Yeah, so she unties Hobo. Plague Biker's coming back. Hobo with a shotgun. He shoots like this canister of oil or something, and
Yeah.
it lights up the path towards the biker. And the biker, like you said, Scott, she killed Grinder. Now she must take his place in the plague. He looks back at her, and she's unconscious, and he's like, she's not going anywhere. And then he like literally is like, all right, I'm out of here.
He's like,
Deuces.
all right, whatever.
Yeah, he just
I ain't got
leaves.
time for this.
And Hobo walks back to Abby, and he hugs her, and he tells her, you can't go to sleep. You can't go to sleep. He's trying to, keep her alive, obviously. She's like, she just wants to go to the zoo and see the bears with him. And he's like, bears don't belong in a zoo. He walks over to where Drake is crawling on the ground, like hand over hand, military prone style, like you're in a trench, like Scott in Warzone. And then the cops show up.
Yes. So the hobo is pointing his shotgun at Drake. The cops are pointing all of their guns at the hobo. And the fans have officially turned on Drake. And the fans are pointing all of their guns at the cops.
A huge sway here because they thought they had control of the entire town. The hobo was impressive. And I think the rousing speech that Abby gave really turned some heads in the way they performed here on the Drake show. They were great contestants.
Yes.
for sure.
So the hobo shoots off Drake's head. All of the cops unload onto the hobo. All of the people up in the stands shoot the cops. And while all this is happening, Abby is screaming.
At the top of her lungs. And yeah, like the hobo is getting fucking lit up by the cops. And he's just going to fall to the ground with the last shot just being him on the ground. End movie.
Yeah, that was dumb.
You
Leaves
guys
so
seem
many
unsatisfied.
unanswered questions.
I would have loved if she just like picked up the gun and just walked away with the plague. I would have been more satisfied with that.
Did she become immortal? Does the town resurface as normal people? Like, what happens to the other half of the plague? I need to know these things, man.
I'm kind of with you. And I know from our society episode, Scott, you mentioned you're a guy that likes the whole package. You like to know what's
yeah.
going on.
I need like
Um,
a post-movie comic book that ties all the loose ends or something
This
like
is
that.
would be an amazing comic book. There's no
Yeah.
doubt. With all the excess blood,
Mm-hmm.
gore, like totally, like everything you do is an incessant amount of violence. And it's great if you like that kind of shocky exposure to blood. I mean, I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Used to it.
yeah. And we've seen some movies that are like that too. But yeah, this is one of them. And so that's that. So this is the portion of the show where we will give our reviews. Shane, you usually go first.
Yeah, I'll start off. 8 out of 10. I fucking love this movie.
You're coming right out of the bat with a haymaker.
Yeah, this is an exploitation movie. I expect to see a lot of kills, a lot of blood, and a lot of nonsensical violence and things like that. And that's all I wanted from this movie. And it delivered on everything. It's a movie that it's not supposed to have storyline or like believable characters or like great dialogue, even though it does have some good speeches in the movie. It reminded me of when we went and watched Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for a story in Toxic Avenger. I was just looking for what it is. And it is what it is. That's the best way to put it. I love it.
I was going to say, did Brian tell you about the first time I saw Toxic Avenger?
No.
I didn't.
The first time I saw Toxic Avenger, Atlantic City used to have a horror convention before the pandemic. And
Yeah.
because Atlantic City's drivable, like a several hours or so, like it's pretty drivable. I went 5 years ago? And I went to a sit down, like watching a movie, and the director literally talks you through the movie.
Lloyd Kaufman?
And I had no idea what most of these movies were, but I just enjoyed horror. So I was like, this will be fun. And I went with a random guy from school. We were in a club together. We were trying to get the whole like film club to go, but it was only us two. And the sit down was for Toxic Avenger. And I had the director talk me through the entire movie.
That's
That is
awesome.
fucking.
I
sit down with Lloyd. That guy's a fucking nut.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be
love
amazing.
Lloyd Kaufman.
I had no
Amazing.
idea what the movie was called because that was the first time I saw it. And when me and Brian were sitting in the office editing one day, I was like, what's that? I can't remember this movie. I think it would be fun to watch. It's about this like really like fucked up guy falls in like an acid container, becomes like the hero of the town, but he looks like the guy from the Goonies. But he wears a tutu and he has a really hot girlfriend who's blind. And instantly he
Yeah,
was just like a
that's
Toxic
right.
Avenger.
That's a great movie.
Toxic
It's
Avenger.
a fun movie.
The first superhero from New Jersey.
Yeah.
What's the director's name?
Lloyd Kaufman.
We're going to put this out into the universe. Lloyd, we want you on the podcast.
I would suck my own penis.
That was, I mean, yeah. Lloyd Kaufman would be fucking awesome.
Lloyd, if you ever hear this, please come on our podcast if you don't see my email.
All right. With that said, 8 out of 10. Brian, shooting it to you.
Yeah, so a lot of things you said in terms of this being a fun movie, for me, it's really what it defaulted to. Like, this is just a fun movie. It doesn't have substance. It's not supposed to have substance, but I would have liked some more tie-ins of the plague early on in the movie. I feel like they threw that later on. I know you said, like, there was a reference to the arcade, but even if it's on the arcade, it has nothing to do with the actual plot of the film. Like, if they built up that in the beginning, or at least had subtle references to this plot, because I feel like that's really important, and they just kind of like 11th houred it at the end. But besides that, it's a fun movie. There's really not too much to talk about. Great kills. I love the excess over amounts of blood and just guts. Like when someone's like getting shot, it's like their head just like literally explodes into a bunch of little pieces. It literally looks like oatmeal or quinoa or couscous. It's awesome. On that regard, I like it. It's very light. For me, this is a 6 out of 10.
You know, couscous didn't come to mind until you said that.
I don't know. I was just thinking of foods that look like mushy and like
Stuffing?
yeah, like gore and yeah. Stuffing's another one.
Like
Yeah.
if you put a red food dye in stuffing,
Oh my god. Yeah.
it would look like that guy's dick. What's that guy's name? Slick?
Oh, Slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would look like
that
his dick.
got a little nudity in this movie, which was definitely hot. I came to that. I also came to the dick. That was nice. That little shrimpy dick. I jerked off to that one.
It's funny because we didn't throw a single passion bump in this movie.
Yeah,
There
but
weren't really any.
There really wasn't.
No,
No.
there's no passion. Maybe to him in the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably was the closest like passionate situation.
I mean, technically, the scene near beginning between Slick and Abby would have been a passion bump if he didn't pull up
It
a
was-
car and try to kill her.
It was passionate because it was a transaction between sex worker and dude that had money to throw. But then there was the dude from The Purge and the van or car or whatever that they were going to probably throw her body in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Supports my theory that this town partook in the purge and then decided to never stop.
I love crossover ideas.
It's incredible. All right. So we'll go to you, Jen.
I am obviously not going to rate this movie too high. Like I said in the beginning, I found myself, like, I got used to the gore pretty quickly because it's outlandish gore, which no one hates. When the gore like that is outlandish, but it's done like properly in a movie, I don't really mind it. Like it was done like that in Night of the Demons, like when she was ripping Suzanne's face off. It was Suzanne, right?
Yes.
When she was ripping her face off and all that stuff, I didn't mind the outlandish gore. But it was supposed to be a basic storyline, but then they added so many side things in that I was just like, why? Why do you need to do that? And yeah, I don't know. I found like the majority of the movie until they started throwing in like random shits and giggles and the writers started doing crack themselves. Like they were like, oh, we found the good shit. And they were like, let's throw in Boba Fett. Let's throw in the Kraken. Let's throw in lore. Perfect. And until then, I got really bored. I was actually like doing work because I was like, I'm bored of this movie. Like, I know it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 because if a movie makes me bored, like, I'm never going to watch this again. I will only watch this if I am drinking or something else with someone who has not seen it so we can laugh about it. But this movie actually, like, could not hold my attention.
Okay. On to you, Scott.
Sorry, Hobo.
I will agree with you, Jen, on the point that it was very sporadic in the sense of storyline and plot, like you were saying, Brian. and I have mentioned it in the previous episode that I need answers. But that aside, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10 because for the movie that it is intended to be, it strikes well, I think. The way that they kind of like introduce the movie, the way the gore is perfect for what they were shooting for, and it's appreciated, I guess, like the random shit that they throw in at the end, like the plague. It kind of gives it a spin so that it does catch your interest a little more. So I can definitely appreciate that a little bit. I think the final scene, the Mad Max scene, was pretty good, but besides the credits, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. So I think for that time frame, it was pretty good. I'm going to stick with my 7 out of 10 on that one.
Nice.
2 7 out of 10s for Scott the Hitman Hucke.
All right.
That's a joke. We all know you let's take it back.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I believe we reached this point in our podcast where we will add someone into our Necronomicon from the movie. It was a death that could have been monumental to the film, a death we just really loved, someone we admired, someone we hated, who we will give upon the hope to one day be resurrected, although that hope will slowly and surely die over time as they find they're trapped in the Jin's lamp and we will never bring them back. But who should we give that hope to? Because I actually do have someone.
There's so many deaths in this. And I just want to say before we even get into this,
a good one.
This segment, people love it. We're getting
Really?
good feedback for this segment. Yeah, I'm getting hit up on all the socials, and this is a winning segment for us here.
Awesome.
I guess Math Hour never stuck, but the Book of the Dead.
Damn, I loved Brian and Shane Math Hour.
We'll get back to it.
That must have been before
that-
me. I don't
It
remember
was.
Math Hour.
Yeah, is
It
that
was
where you
only-
learned how to put 1 and 2
We-
together?
We did it in Jesus, Scott. We did it in one episode.
It was Wishmaster.
yeah, Wishmaster.
Easy to say he stopped homeschooling his daughter.
Yeah. She knows how to put 2 and 2 together. Shane, not so much.
Wow, I don't have a daughter. With that said, Drake.
Yes, that was my guy.
The head getting blown up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just the character of Drake. I think he deserves to be in our Necronomicon.
that's fair. Drake was a great character. There's no doubt about that. It'd be too easy to choose Hobo, I think. It was a good death. He went out, but, like, Drake is good. Yeah, this is tough for me. I think I'm just going to go with, I don't know. Yeah, this is tough. I really didn't give this enough thought. Scott, you want to go, and then I'll come back to me?
I can agree with Drake, but I think if we could give an honorable mention who doesn't make it, it would be Slick. Because that guy's got some fucking flow on his head. His hair is prime. And he takes a shotgun cock shot and ends up in a burning
His
bush.
hair is very somewhere between Grease Lightning to Bye Bye Birdie.
He was going to be my pick. He was going to be my pick that I was thinking of originally. I was trying to think back on all the guys. I was considering going with the guy at like the very beginning of the movie, the guy that gets the glory
Danny
hole.
McBride.
The reason, because I think that set the tone right out of the gate for the TV show.
It definitely
So
does.
That's what I'm going to go with, but I think I'm already overruled, so we're good.
All right.
We'll go Drake.
Shane, have you prepared a eulogy for Sir Drake?
Yes.
The Drake.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The Drake.
Today we honor the Drake in our Necronomicon. He was the leader of Hopeville, or Scum Town as some people would call it. He was the person to lead them into their prominence and their greatness. What other place would have head bumper car and foot mallet? I don't know what else to call those games, but he led the people to play those games. Also, there was endless coke.
Endless, exuberant amounts of coke.
And for leading such a great town, I think it's only right we put him in our Necronomicon.
All right. With that said, the Drake is in.
As the hobo said, all kings must fall.
That's true. That's true.
Question, what was his son's name?
Ivan and Slick?
Yeah.
Slick. I wrote him down as Slim, but he is not the real Slim Shady.
He's
No,
definitely
he's
not.
not.
Nope. In true, like, on brand for me, I forgot his name immediately.
Sounds about right.
You know, when I watched this
They
the
wear
first
jackets
time,
with their names on it.
when I watched this the first
I don't know
time,
how to read.
I didn't like the kids. Like, I thought they were corny, but then when I watched it the second time, I'm like, they are who they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
they are.
They're supposed to be the annoying, pissant kids.
Yeah.
And that's why I did like them the second watch.
I think everybody did a great job on their character, arguably.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on, Scott.
Anytime. I will
Scott.
bring it back as much as you guys would like.
Scott, we joke around a lot, but we appreciate you coming on. You always give great insight, and you're always good to have on. We always have good conversations. Scott, what's going on with you? Where can people find you? Please plug something, dude.
I'd love to plug you guys, but we do that enough on the weekends. You know, just on
Speaking of sexually.
Instagram.
So am I.
Yes, that's 100% where that's going.
Good.
You can just find me on Instagram. Come hang out. I just have kind of like a hobby Instagram at Scott's Life of Gaming. I just do a lot of posting of music, movies, video games, anything in between. And come hang out, come talk. Let me know what's going on. And I can't wait to be on another episode.
Yeah, please follow Scott. Dude, you do a crazy amount of content that you push every single day. Like, you're always on it. And I love the hustle, dude.
If you don't know, Scott does do a decent amount of giveaways, so he's probably running something right now.
All right.
So before we leave, I hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. This is coming out on the day after Valentine's Day, so hope you all enjoyed your holiday and are doing your part celebrating President's Day today.
Yeah. Future Brian will be single on Valentine's Day and will be probably jerking off into a napkin.
You could do a cum tribute.
Ooh, cum tribute. That's good. Yeah, masturbation is a huge problem. I'm trying to cut down on that.
We're
Let the
not
world
helping.
know.
Shane, I feel like you
So with all that said, we are the final podcast. We will be doing the Blair Witch Project next week. So we will see you next week in the woods, where Brian may or may not be jerking off into a napkin. So if you haven't already, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter at The Final Pod Ever. Follow us on Instagram at The Final Podcast. And if you haven't, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple. It really, really helps Apple, push out our content and recommend us to other people to listen to.
Can you guys see me grabbing my nuts on the camera?
Yes.